road near Ekkimadai at the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu state. This is a leading educational and research institute affiliated to Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore. It offers several UG and PG courses under the discipline of arts, science and social studies. It also offers MPhil and PhD programs in several courses.
Who has joined in this webinar. Today, it is the last day of Sri Narayana Guru Endowment Lecture Series. It started on 11th February, that is 11th to 18th, that is today, 8 days lecture series. So on this auspicious occasion, I take this pleasant opportunity of welcoming the gathering. It's my pleasure and a duty to welcome our respectful and beloved principal of Sri Narayana Guru College, Dr. M. Ilangovan, who presides this function, and he is our former head of the department, and he is our guiding star always in all our endeavors. So on behalf of every one of us, I welcome him. I welcome sir. It is a memorable day for me to welcome the resource person of the day. He is actually one of my well-wisher. He was my senior in PSC College of Arts and Science. So on behalf of our management, principal, on behalf of our biochemistry department faculties and students, and each and everyone who have joined here for this wonderful webinar, I would like to extend my sincere and heartfelt welcome to Dr. T. Vinod Kumar, Associate Professor of Biotechnology and Director of School of Biological Sciences, CMS College of Science and Commerce, Coimbatore. He is going to deliver a webinar on that is diabetes and COVID-19. It is a very relevant to the present situation, pandemic situation. So I welcome you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I would like to express my warm welcome to the organizing secretary of this endowment lecture series, Dr. D. Kalpana, Director of Commerce and Management, Sri Narayana Guru College. I welcome you, ma'am. I extend my cordial welcome to the convener of this program, Mr. E.K. Girishan, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of PC and IT, Sri Narayana Guru College. I welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to extend my pleasant welcome to my colleagues and other colleagues of our college and the faculty members, participants from various other organizations. I welcome them all. Then I would like to express my happy welcome to all the student participants to make this event as a memorable one. I welcome each and every one of them. Once again, I welcome you all for this wonderful virtual endowment lecture series. Thank you all for the wonderful opportunity given to me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now I call upon Dr. Radhi M.A. To introduce our chief guest. Ma'am, please.
Good afternoon to one and all present over here. I take this opportunity to introduce the resource person of today's program. He has completed 20 years of teaching and research experience, including 4 years of international teaching experience at Faculty of Medical Technology, Libya. He obtained his doctoral degree in biochemistry from Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore, in the area of natural product drug discovery. He has completed his MPhil in biotechnology from Department of Biotechnology, Bharatiyar University. His research area includes natural product drug discovery, bioprocess technology, and enzyme biotechnology. His research work is focused on discovery of novel enzyme inhibitors from natural sources as drugs. He proved his expertise by the discovery of novel drug candidates for the treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus and Alzheimer's disease, which are under clinical trials. Dr. Vinod's contribution to the establishment of state-of-the-art biotech lab at CMS College is appreciated by experts in this field. He has published research articles at international and national levels and also published 2 books at international level for medical and medical technology students. He has received 15 lakhs as major research grant from UGC, Government of India, to find a novel drug for type 2 diabetes mellitus. He is guiding MPhil and PhD research scholars in the field of biotechnology. He is a member of Ethical Committee of Bharathiar University and Board of Studies of Bharathiar University. Dr. Vinod is also a member of doctoral committees of various universities and reviewer of various national and international journals. He is a life member of various national and international level scientific organizations and associations and is a research expert committee member of Alzheimer's disease and related Disorders Society of India. Such an eminent personality is with us. So I request Dr. Vinod sir to take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, I would like to thank Principal of Sri Narayan Guru College and my senior Dr. M. Ilangovan sir for giving the opportunity to give a lecture on diabetes and COVID-19. And one more person to be thanked, Dr. Narayan Swamy. He is my maybe my friend and my junior at PhD College of Arts and Science, and we had a nice time at our studies. And he's a very brilliant man, and he contributed so much to research also, because I saw his growth during our student life. And so this is a golden opportunity, because I am from CMS College and I'm giving a lecture to Sri Narayan Guru College, and both the institutions are sister concerns. And I'm very happy to give a lecture and the webinar to Narayan Guru College. So today we have a topic, okay, that is diabetes and COVID-19. I gave this title to Narayan Swamy because this is more relevant, and maybe this may be very useful to the society or the students. That may be the timely one. Okay, maybe this is very useful to the student community, especially the biochemistry students. Those are maybe in a plan to start their research career, or otherwise, okay, maybe for post graduation. They should know the reality of the biochemistry field. So biochemistry is the mother of science, and this is the base for all the life sciences. And those who have the maybe the strong foundation in the field of biochemistry, they can dominate all the life sciences. So that is a fact. Including, I served in some of the countries like Libya, and I was there in the medical college, okay, for teaching the clinical biochemistry and diagnostic molecular biology. Including, I saw some of the fellow friends from other countries also. So when compared to India and other countries, we have a lot of opportunities, and the students, they should take the responsibility as the students, and they should lead life, especially in the science life. Okay, that is, they have to take the right choice of doing the post-graduation and research. So this is a very interesting area, because my passion is finding a drug for a problem, that is either diabetes or cancer or Alzheimer's disease. I started my research in the year 1994. Maybe at the time, okay, there is no technical development in the field of biotechnology and also biochemistry. And at the time, okay, there is no idea about the Human Genome Project also. So some work is going on. Maybe at the time, okay, there are some conflicts regarding the diabetes, whether this is treatable under maybe by the application of insulin, or otherwise by the treatment of diabetes, okay, by using some of the medicines approved by WHO. So till now there is no treatment. Actually, we should not use the word treatment. Diabetes is a metabolic disorder, so we cannot treat it, but we can only manage it. So maybe you can have a word, maybe you can come across a word, I got diabetes, now it is okay, but now I am perfectly normal. If anybody says, okay, don't listen that words, because diabetes is a metabolic disorder, and that one cannot be cured. You can manage the diabetes. So this is the one that is the more research is needed, okay, in the field of diabetes. So that is why I took my research. Maybe Dr. Narayan Swami knows, okay, my research topic in the MSc project is diabetes mellitus. Then I changed to Alzheimer's disease because I want to focus more on neurochemistry. That is why I took that area and worked for a research project, and finally I found a molecule for the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. So that is a big story. And coming to the more concept, okay, that is why there is a topic is needed, that is diabetes and COVID-19. What is the relation? So what is the link between the two? The COVID-19 is entirely different, and diabetes is entirely different. Thank you. Yeah, this is my team of research at CMS College. Our team is Drug Discovery Research Laboratory at CMS College, and we have a team of 6 scholars at present, and 4 already completed their PhD. And some of the students from PG, they are doing their research projects also, and we received nearly 14.5. These are the faculty members, they told in the introduction. Our area is diabetes mellitus. Focus is on drug discovery, sequence diabetes mellitus. And second prime area is cancer. Third one is Alzheimer's disease and cosmeceuticals. Okay, that is a skin whitening formula. That is one of the student, she found a molecule for as an ingredient, a natural ingredient, okay, for the fairness cream. So that is also there because it is drug discovery research laboratory. And coming to the diabetes mellitus, so my interest, my passion doing the research in this field, because I served nearly 20 years of research in this area, but still now, okay, we have to do a lot of research in diabetes mellitus. Each and every day is challenging. Each and every day is challenging to get the results, and we have to interpret what are the results received by or maybe obtained by the scientific community in the world. We have to discuss. So many things are happening. There is so many research are happening day by day in diabetes mellitus. One of the topmost research areas in biochemistry is diabetes mellitus. I already told, okay, this biochemistry aspect of diabetes mellitus is the diabetes mellitus is a metabolic disorder. So based on the WHO data, the total population of diabetes mellitus is expected to cross 440 million by that is 2030. Just imagine 440 million, and in 440 million, approximately 60 to 70% in India, because especially in South India, because we are taking a lot of carbohydrate-rich diet, and maybe our lifestyle, maybe our genetic predisposition, and everything may play a role. Maybe one of the factors is also there, that is stress. If a person is having more stress, automatically they will get diabetes mellitus in the early stage. That means maybe in the 20-25 years. Students, you know that, okay, you have a lot of stress due to your workload. Maybe if you're accumulating all the studies, and maybe if you're starting the studies, okay, before the model exam or internal exam, that may be stress to you. Stress in any form, maybe financial stress or mental stress, including the friendship is also a stress nowadays. So that is one of the culprit, and that is spoiling the pancreas, and especially the Langerhans tissues that is involved in the secretion of insulin. So only insulin is a major role in diabetes mellitus. Do you think, okay, like that? No. Insulin is a main key factor in the glucose stabilizing metabolism. At the same time, so many parameters are there. So we can see one by one. And it is probably the oldest disease known to human. So don't think like that, okay, diabetes mellitus, okay, maybe 100 years before, not like that. Okay, we have the proof. Maybe we have, that is archaeological studies mentioned that 14th century itself, we have this complication. It is Black Death. Okay, that is the meaning is diabetes mellitus. Diabetes occurs when the pancreas is no longer able to make insulin. That is, insulin is not made by pancreas. That is one complication. Or when the body cannot make good use of insulin. Insulin is there, but insulin is not properly utilized, or otherwise insulin not bound properly, or otherwise the binding is there, but unfortunately the cascade mechanisms within the cell, the intracellular level, is not proceeded. So these are the two different horizons. Okay, one is insulin deficiency, but insulin is there, but insulin is not working properly. So these are the two domains. So based on that, we can classify the diabetes mellitus into two different types, type 1 and type 2. The type 1 is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Dependent means dependent. That means insulin is lacking, or insulin secretion is very, very less. Due to that, diabetes mellitus. And the second type is non-insulin dependent. It's called as NADDM. That is, insulin dependent is IDDM and NADDM. We are going to use the abbreviation in this throughout this session. Third type is also there, but that is not a predominant one. That is very rare. At the same time, so that is more complex also. That is diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus having two different types. Okay, that is centralis and renalis. Central is related with central nervous system disorder. That is the neurohormonal diabetes insipidus and the pituitary diencephalic polyuria. So that means the central nervous system having a problem of secreting PTH, or called as a vasopressin. That is very important to control kidney. Any tumor, or otherwise any tissue abrasion or some other damage to the tissues of brain, especially the areas of pituitary. So this may happen. This is a very rare one, and maybe congenital also, birth defect or any injury or any accident or trauma. So this may happen. So this is very rare. Second type of diabetes insipidus is renalis. Renalis means ADH is normal, that is vasopressin is normal, but it is not acting on kidney because the kidney cells is lacking in the sensitivity. That is why, so the vasopressin cannot bind to the kidney cells and controlling the resorption of water from the kidney. So that means the kidney having the Bowman's capsule, and the convoluted tubules will be there, and Henle's loop, and the post, okay, that is pre and the post will be there, and all the three components involved in the resorption. You know very well, okay, what is the meaning of resorption? I hope, okay, all of the biochemistry students, you study the human physiology. You cannot separate the human physiology from biochemistry, because the human physiology is a base. Only with that you can understand the concept of physiology. Okay, and this vasopressin is normal. At the same time, this will not bind to the receptors, so in the convoluted tubules and the Henle's loop. So due to that, so more water is excreted in the form of urine. So it's called as polyuria. Polyuria means more urine output. So these complications not directly comes under diabetes category. So it's very rare, diabetes insipidus. And fourth category is gestational diabetes. Gestation means the pregnancy, because a lady is conceived, it means she is going for maybe the gestation period is 6 months or 7 months. So due to the enlargement of the fetus, so this is pressing some of the areas like kidney and pancreas. So due to that, okay, this complication may come. Okay, this is called as gestational diabetes. And the metabolism is not proper, because the insulin is not sufficient to control the whole body, because she is also carrying a baby, the fetus also. So these are the complications. And you can have a word, okay, maybe juvenile diabetes. This may be known maybe 20 years before. It's very common. So now this word is absolute. Okay, that means we are not using that one. The old name of type 1 diabetes mellitus. Juvenile means, okay, it's the early stage of the life. the diabetes comes means, okay, that is type 1 diabetes mellitus. So students, okay, these are all the different types of diabetes mellitus, and you may be studied, okay, this one I'm not telling the new concept or something, okay, this the basics, because I know the crowd is maybe mixed crowd, or maybe you are from UG level and also PG level at the same time, okay, some of the faculty members are also attending. So this has to be beneficial to everyone. That is why I'm starting from the basics and ended with, maybe going to end with the advanced level. And then in the next part is the difference between the type 1 and type 2. You can see here this type 1 is more complicated when compared to type 2 diabetes, because insulin is normal. Sorry, insulin is secretion is not normal. At the same time, it is creating a lot of complications in the body, because you know that, okay, insulin is one, that's hormone is very important to open the gate of glucose, and this glucose has to enter into the cell. Just imagine, okay, there is a room. So within the room, okay, the persons are sitting, okay, just imagine you are within the room. The entrance is the gate, okay, that is insulin receptor, okay. And if you have the key to open the gate automatically, you will get the food. So this is the main concept. The key is insulin. Only with the key you can open the gate and you will get the food. The food is glucose. Just imagine the room is a cell. The cell is having, okay, all the vital components like all the subcellular organelles and the metabolism and everything is active. Once the glucose is reached within the cell and everything will be working fine. That is the conversion of glucose into pyruvate and pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A will enter into the metabolism with Krebs cycle and forms NADH and releases carbon dioxide. You know that, okay, NADH is the main energy source, okay, for electron transport chain for the proton motive force formation, and due to that we can generate a lot of energy in the form of ATP. So this is the concept. Once the insulin is there, we can get the food. That is, the blood circulation is rich in glucose. The blood circulation is not providing the glucose to the cells because the cells is not accepting it, because the gate is closed. The gate can be opened only by insulin. This is the idea. Outside, there are plenty of glucose molecules are there in the blood circulation. Inside the cell, it's lacking. It is starving like anything. In that case, okay, what will happen? If it is continued maybe for 1 day, 2 days, what will happen? The cells started dying, and maybe the degeneration of cells may happen. So this is the complication in most of the cases. You can see, okay, what is the complication of diabetes is the cell death. The very common one is the eye cells, okay, that is corneal cells, and also the retinal cells, and also the nerve cells of the eye, and also muscles, the neurons. The neuropathy is a very common complication in diabetes. So we have to maintain a normal level of glucose, okay, within the blood circulation. So that is why we need insulin. A person is telling, okay, I have type 1 diabetes mellitus, but without insulin I am managing, means that is a false information. That is, he is killing himself. Without insulin, the person cannot live. Without insulin, a person cannot perform day-to-day activities also. So I am categorizing this one into two different types, the phenotypic and the genotypic. Phenotypic means the physical, the characteristics, and the genotypic means the genetic, the components. In the type 1 diabetes mellitus, and the onset of onset is primarily in the childhood and adolescence. So this type 1 diabetes mellitus may happen in both stages, either childhood or adolescence, but majority childhood. In the case of phenotype, the onset is predominantly after 40 years of age. Now this is slowly changing, okay, due to the lifestyle of the persons. For example, especially, okay, this maybe the student community after completing their UG program, they are getting a job in the industry, okay, like the IT industry. So how they are working? Because they are working continuously, maybe for 8 hours without any break, and they have a stress. Within a day, okay, they have to do the programming. and they have given with the target. Okay, that is a particular software has to be developed, and they have to write the code and everything. It is a mental stress. So due to that, what will happen? So due to the stress, automatically the glucose metabolism is the beyond control. That means going abnormal. In that case, if their insulin levels are normal due to the stress, and automatically the glucose is overproduced from the degradation of glycolysis, and the glucose is not properly utilized by the body due to glucose resistance, and insulin resistance also. So why this is happening means it's a big research. What is stress and how the stress is interacting or playing a role on the biochemical metabolism or mechanism of insulin and the glucose metabolism. So everything is a big question mark. There are a lot of things to be done in the research. The second point is you can see the type 1 diabetes mellitus, a person is looking very thin, and they may be in the normal weight. But in type 2 diabetes mellitus, they are all obese with a lot of body weight, and especially the abdominal fat deposit. Nowadays, there is a trend in the scientific community. They are not working properly. They don't have a habit of a healthy living. That means no physical exercise, a sedentary life, maybe playing the mobile phone nearly for hours together, including they are not moving their hands also. It's simply like using the fingers with mobile phones. Due to COVID also, the lockdown, and this is very common. And some of them, they put a lot of weight also, especially in the abdomen area. So this will create a lot of complication. Once a person is depositing more fat in the abdomen, automatically this will develop a lot of insulin resistance. You can see in the back side of the shoulder, they will get a black color tinge, that is called as insulin resistance. That symptom, the first symptom is the melanin pigment accumulation in the shoulders, and they will get there's some band on the neck also. This black color deposit only due to insulin resistance. So that is why this type 2 diabetes mellitus and slowly kill the person when compared to the type 1. This will create a lot of complications silently. Third one is the type 1 diabetes mellitus, they are prone to ketoacidosis, and here there is no ketoacidosis. Now, what is the meaning of ketoacidosis? Ketoacidosis means a ketone body formation, because the ketone bodies are produced only the fat is degraded. Fat means the fatty acids are degraded to form more amount of ketone bodies, acetone, acetoacetic acid, beta hydroxy, butyrate. All the three can be produced in a larger quantity, so that cannot be utilized or metabolized further. That may be a burden to the metabolism. Maybe the brain will utilize the ketone bodies at the same time. This will create a lot of complication. These complications may hit kidney cells. So that is why the type 1 diabetes mellitus, if it is not under proper control, that will damage the first organ is kidney. The kidney failure is very, very common and quite common in the case of type 1, uncontrolled type 1 diabetes mellitus.